How do you tell a story? Is it solely words like in a book? Maybe it's the emotion and melody of music conveys. Or is it instead with a painting, hiding little details that only the most observant viewers discover? But what about the case of a film? So that brings us today to Angel's Egg. Let's dive into Mamoru Oshii's world of confusion and intrigue. Angel's Egg was released to the world in 1985 and has been hailed as a timeless masterpiece. Now, to be frank, this is not heavy in the script department. But does that mean its story is bad? I believe there are a few ways to tell a story. One, phonetically. I know this technically doesn't make sense, but just go with it. In Angel's Egg, there are less than 50 lines uttered by our characters. 50! Which only accounts for, what, maybe 10 minutes of a 71-minute feature? And half of those are just... But once we get to the real meat and potatoes of it, you get the story of the flood, Angel and her egg, and a man who has forgotten himself. Then there is visually. In photography, there is the cliche that a photo tells 1,000 words, and I feel Angel's Egg has so many frames that embody that thought. You can see the shift from the technology in the beginning where Angel wakes up, to the more grounded items in the village that look more human-like, rather than strange and foreign. Once in town, Angel gives off this feeling of being watched, with the camera angles also mirroring that nature, acting as if we are the ones stalking her. Hell, I can really stretch here and say, when Angel first meets Warrior, we have these tank-like things passing through the town like in World War II. And looking at the angles, the barrel of the tank is pointing straight at Angel, which could show that Warrior is a threat to Angel and her egg, because as we know from the film's ending, spoiler, he eventually destroys the egg. But we cannot forget about audibly. I'm going to play some clips for you, and tell me what you feel. With no dialogue, it feels as if the music is the narrator. Its tone sets what we, the audience, should feel from a muted world. Finally, there are the audience's discovery. A story can be known to different degrees, as there is the base story that you get from going from A to B. My example was Final Fantasy VII. I played through it, got trauma from One Winged Angel, and saw the credits. But I missed so many parts of the story. I didn't see Zack, I didn't get the knights around, heck, I didn't even get Yuffie until the end of Disc 2. And Angel's Egg, I feel, has the same thing. You can watch the movie and see Angel's egg get broken and she becomes petrified, which is fine, but it's in the rewatching, the digging deeper for certain questions, and taking your time to finally comb it and see what connects. Now to be frank, I have no idea where to even start with this thing, so strap in, this is gonna be messy. The movie takes 24 minutes for a conversation to be uttered. Well, yes, someone says one line at the 2-minute mark. For the most part, the thing carrying the movie is the music and visuals. To some, that may be an instant turnoff, but to me, I absolutely loved it. The music, I feel, took on multiple roles, that of ambiance and of the narrator. Now, you may be looking at the screen like, what is this guy huffing? If you must know, it's glue, but that's not important right now. Why I say narrator is because this world visually sparks curiosity and mystery, letting our mind race to see what connects, what we find strange, and if anything correlates. It's a lesson in visual storytelling, because how often have we seen in modern media having to spoon-feed the audience the message or ideas? Instead, Angel's Egg has its audience asking questions, wondering. It's like watching a book with no words, but the music, that is what guides our thoughts. Some scenes are mellow and dreamlike. Others have the sound of despair and a sense of uneasiness. This movie is not for everyone. Not that it is bad, but that I feel it can only find a select few who can sit and not know all the answers. There is no explicit background given for this world. We don't know why the town is empty. We don't know what these fishes are, or why these fishermen are gray, but the only way to find the beauty in this film is to try. Try to guess why the town is empty. Is it because this place was there before the flood? Are the fishes just a remnant of the flood? Are the fishermen gray because they're underwater? Is the bell rung to signal the arrival of the tide? This film is visually stunning. I could just select almost any frame at random and it would just be an awe-inducing experience. But it is as well littered with so many small details that show an untold story. Hell, even the beginning of this film raises so many questions, with the main guy standing in what looks like an early render of Tron with the Eye of Sauron floating. This movie has its charms visually, where I would not be upset if I was gifted some key frames as art. The music is intriguing to me, and I enjoy the journey I take in my mind trying to understand the emotions and sense the composer is attempting to bring the audience into. The film is one of those pieces where I can respect what it does and appreciate the craftsmanship behind it. But this movie isn't in the same category of things such as Fantasia or Interstellar 5555. It's not a visual album or anything along those lines where the music is the protagonist and the visuals are the supporting cast. Angel's Egg is a traditional film where the visual medium is the main focus. Plus, who said films need words? Because then what do we classify the first 35 years of cinema as? Angel's Egg is more like a silent film than anything. The way a story is told never has to stick to the mold, and sometimes that is what makes it iconic. Take House of Leaves, where the book tells 4 different stories at the same time, but one is in the way of notes, the other has annotations. The book is formatted to reflect the insanity. Then there's Tenet, a movie that halfway through collapses in on itself and retells the existing story we have already seen, but from a different point of view. Stories and their mediums aren't always meant to be cookie cutter and formulaic. Sometimes it's its uniqueness in how it's told that leaves their mark with the audience. A good story leaves you with something, whether it's a line, a theme, a question, or an ending. And it doesn't have to be good, but it does have to be so bad that it becomes good. Because there's nothing worse than a story, project, or performance that is forgotten the moment it's finished. Personal example. I look at the Magic Tree House and I remember that fondly whenever someone mentions it. I'm like, oh, I remember reading those, but ask me if I remember anything about it, I don't. Or what about Diary of a Wimpy Kid? Again, nostalgic, but I can't remember anything. A good story leaves an impact, as I had one of those moments with one of my last scripts, where my friend is like, oh, right, yeah, I don't remember anything that you talked about in that video. As a creator, it hurts. Now, did my friend set out to hurt my feelings? Maybe. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't. But this feeling of forgetfulness and something you've worked on is painful. And that's where I feel a good story or good creation has to gauge itself. Did I leave a moment with the audience? And for Angel's Egg, it left a few.